If your home is powered by safer, cheaper, cleaner electricity like solar or heat pumps, you can save about $500 a month on average. Don't take my word for it. The CEOs of 11 of America's...
Folks, I do believe that Joe Biden can do more for the American people, and I believe he should be sending out stimulus payments within a couple of days. If he does not, well, the American people must get the help they need somehow and in some way. Here is some serious news. There are several changes that are happening this year. As the crisis-era boost to SNAP benefits has expired, many states are now making it up for it by approving new relief legislation, and this could lead to $100 extra every single month for Americans. Formerly referred to as food stamps, the SNAP is a government welfare program that provides assistance to families and individuals suffering from food insecurity. As many as 41 million U.S. citizens, or about 1 in 8 Americans, participate in the program for fiscal year 2022. And millions of Americans are scrambling to put food on the table after a crisis-related expansion to the SNAP ended earlier this month. SNAP households got at least $95 extra in food funds every single month over the last few years as a result of legislation passed by Congress, as food insecurity related to the crisis began to rise. But at least 18 states ended the crisis-related extra allotments last year, and the boost officially stopped nationwide in February after the February funds are distributed. Some states are trying to help bridge the gap that the resulting cut in benefits has created by either encouraging residents to donate to food banks and pantries or through a bill to strengthen SNAP. Advocacy groups like the Food Research and Action Center say that the best way to improve SNAP is by increasing the program's minimum monthly benefits, something that New Mexico lawmakers did in 2021 for all recipients, and the Maryland lawmakers did last year for people over the age of 62. So far, there have been a total of at least 131 bills introduced in state legislatures across the country since the beginning of the year that are aimed at strengthening SNAP programs. Only a handful of state lawmakers have either passed or introduced a bill to make up for the recent cut, and doing so by boosting the SNAP benefits. The lawmakers have introduced at least half a dozen SNAP-related bills so far this season, and one bill is introduced by the state senator. It would give and boost the minimum monthly payment to $50 for those in a state SNAP program. The state of Massachusetts is also considering a bill that would serve as an off-ramp for the 630,000 households that receive SNAP as they lose their extra aid. Under the bill, the state would pay up to 40% of a household's crisis-era SNAP benefits for the next 3 months.
Largest utility companies came to see me at the White House several weeks ago. They told me if we pass my plans before the Congress now, typical families will see savings show up in their utility bills immediately. Costs will come down even more as we innovate and develop cutting-edge energy storage technologies. Clean
employment benefits kept her afloat until someone, somewhere, took all of her money.
When I looked at my statement and went, all my money's gone.
Diane suddenly found dozens of mysterious charges on her EDD account, many of them from a company in Africa.
What is this? Hugo host West Africa, South Africa? Like, I don't know.
All she knew was her unemployment benefits were gone.
$7,000 taken out of my account. It hurts.
Diane immediately called Bank of America.
House Representatives already signed a bill that includes $1 trillion in spending. Biden is ready to pass new legislation, and the bill has several provisions that will affect millions of Americans. Americans can expect to see a drastic change in their benefit checks, and according to the White House, the House of Representatives already passed a sweeping $2 trillion bill. It will keep the government funded from this year to next. The bill passed 225 to 201, with Republicans supporting the bill and with Democratic Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez voting no. Still, Joe Biden, who sent a statement just after the passage that he signed the bill into law as soon as it reached his desk, applauded its bipartisan support. Biden signed the short-term funding bill into law today, officially averting a government shutdown. This is the most important stimulus check, Social Security news, and SSI and SSDI information that I want you to know, so continue watching because you don't want to miss out on. More money is coming to American people. An exact date has been announced for a one-time direct deposit of a bonus payment. A check is going to be worth at least $600, set to go out to thousands of eligible Americans. And here's some exciting news. Thousands of city employees in Denver see a $600 bonus, which the city council approved this week amid a staffing shortage. The new bonus is expected to cover roughly 8,300 of the city's people. It will lead to the government spending about $6 million in the state. The new bonuses are expected to go out after this week and no later than the end of the month. Additional funds will go to residents across the state on January 31st, and also with $750 going to individual filers and $1,500 for joint filers as well. The council measure is expected to cover 5,700 of the employees, with the Department of Human Services and the city's airport handing out bonuses separately. The funds will come from city savings that are stored up after the city failed to fill certain roles. According to officials, the bonuses are an appreciation for the service in 2022 when staffing shortages continue to impact departments and agencies across the city. Other workers got triple bonuses, double overtime pay, pay adjustments, and temporary retention bonuses due to problems with staffing. So now, also in the state of California, and according to the California Franchise Tax Board, the state has already issued $7.5 billion in middle-class tax refunds. 6.9 million payments have been sent out via direct deposit, 6 million also in direct deposit checks. Because according to state officials, the bonuses are an appreciation for services in 2022. So, economists have been forecasting a recession for months now. Now most of them are already starting to appear up. Whether it's deep or shallow, it's up for debate, but the idea for the economy going into a period of recession is pretty much the consensus. So Mark Zandi, a chief economist, told CNBC, when you have high inflation and the Fed is jacking up interest rates to quell inflation, it results in a downturn or a recession. When inflation picks up and the Fed responds by pushing up interest rates again, the economy ultimately caves into the underweight of higher interest rates. The Fed has already a serious problem with inflation. It forecasts additional rate hikes up to about 5.7% by early next year, and economists expect it to maintain those high rates to control inflation. Those higher rates are also already taking a toll on the housing market, with home sales down 35% from last year in November, and also the 10th in a row of decline. 30-year mortgage is close to 7%, and consumer inflation was still running at a hot 7% annual rate in November. A recession is considered to be a prolonged economic downturn that broadly affects the economy and typically lasts 2 quarters or more. But if any factor is severe enough, the National Bureau of Economic Research could declare recession. For instance, the crisis in 2020 was so sharp that it was determined to be a recession, even though it was very short. The Federal Reserve's latest economic projections show the economy growing at a pace of 5%, so at least some progress is being made for this.
Please proceed. You're recognized for 2 hours.
Thank you, Chairman Carper, and thank you very much for holding this hearing. So giant corporations use bad trade deals to pad their profits and to chip away at protection for workers and for consumers. And now that the U.S. and other governments are trying to rein in big tech, their lobbyists and lawyers are trying to rig digital trade rules to undermine those new regulatory